There's too many rules and I'm a bit of a rule breaker. I don't know, it just doesn't feel real still.
With a lot of tools.
From 3-4-year-olds and I'd be like, I'm not wearing this today, I'm wearing something else. And H from Steps is known as. It's like, yes, obviously. I'd still probably say Diana Ross.
Really?
Well, I'm just this daft little Geordie and then my work's doing all this stuff. Disco's blaring by the evening.
Yeah.
My neighbour's here.
Hi everyone, welcome back to This Is Mint, and we are on episode 2. Thank you so much to everyone who has already listened to the Richard Dawson episode, and for all the lovely feedback and nice things that people have been saying about the podcast. It's been that kind of thing of like, it's been building and building and building for so long, and to actually just like get it out there to everyone has just been like dead nice. So yeah, thanks so much to everyone who's listened and said nice things about it so far. If you haven't listened to the Richard Dawson one and you're new here, then you can go and do that wherever you're listening. We're on to episode 2. It's kind of been really a crazy couple of weeks since releasing it, because kind of like released the first one and then have just been absolutely manic since. I feel like it's just been quite non-stop since the last podcast came out. So I got to go to Denmark recently as in like 3 days ago. I was in Denmark and it was amazing. Went to work with an amazing accordionist called Rue Barsland, and it was just really cool to like, we just kind of spent a couple of days like arranging and writing and coming up with new ideas for tunes, and he taught me some of his tunes, some Danish tunes. I've never really played Danish tunes before, I got to kind of do that and then play some music together, and it was great. Double accordion is just one of the best things ever in my personal opinion, but it was just really nice, and also really nice to see Denmark as well. I've never been before, so that was really fun. So I'm going to bring on our next This Is Mint guest. So we have the amazing Corey Dixon on the podcast this week. Corey is an amazing fashion designer, and her brand, Somebody Else's Guy, is just absolutely like taking the fashion world like by storm. Her like designs have been seen in like Vogue, Vanity Fair. 2 weeks ago, Sam Fender wore one of her designs at London Stadium, and she's done stuff for H from Steps and Leighton Williams, and just loads and loads of people, and people are just like taking notice of her, as they should. So we got to talk all about fashion, and we talked about the fashion scene in the North East, and just had a really, really lovely conversation. She's brilliant, and I hope you enjoy it. And this is Corey Dixon.
So, Corey, welcome to This Is Mint. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for having me.
That's all right, that's all good. So, we are in your fairly new studio space.
Yeah,
how long have you been here for?
only moved in properly a couple of months now.
And
so it's
how's
all
it going?
new and fresh. I love it. It's been hard work, but we're getting there, and it's like one of those moments where I'm just like, whoa, this is actually mine, and this is where I come to work now.
That's so cool. I know, it's so nice when you have your own little space that you get to make your own. So your brand is Somebody Else's Guy. Could you tell us a little bit about how you maybe got into fashion in the first place, and how that kind of progressed into you starting your own brand off?
I think I've always been into fashion, if I'm honest. Mm-hmm. I remember my mum once telling me that she used to get me dressed, and then this is from 3-4-year-olds, and I'd be like, I'm not wearing this today, I'm wearing something else, and she was like, so you were picking your outfits out from being 3-4-year-old. And then I basically was working in wardrobe, doing costumes for cruise ships, and then COVID happened. I basically couldn't do ships anymore. Moved back to Newcastle and was just kind of like, you know what it is, life's too short, give it a go. I basically actually had started doing it through face masks, and I was getting fake designer fabric and making us, and they went viral, obviously, because everyone was walking around with Gucci and YSL face masks, and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go and just try and make clothes, and here I am.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool, doing wardrobe for cruise ships and stuff. Is that just doing like the dressing and all that, or did you have to do like the making and the altering and all that sort of stuff?
I've gone from the altering, the designing, a bit. I did a 6-month stint where I did it full time on board a cruise ship, which involved all the dressing as well. But the rest of the times I was just classed as a passenger, and I'd go like from ship to ship, for the start-ups or the close downs, and like do the cast changeovers.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never heard anyone who's done like the dressing on a cruise ship before. That must be such a unique way of dressing and designing.
Yeah.
Like, how is that process of designing, like doing stuff on cruise ships and things like that?
It's good because it's like you're designing and then like altering, making whatever, and then you're seeing it on the stage, which is always like that. It's good adrenaline kick when you're actually seeing the hard work on stage.
Yeah, I can imagine. I bet a lot of tool and a lot of like flamboyant.
Yeah, I think it kind of describes my brand a little bit as well, because it, like, I feel like I've kind of brought that costumey, like boldness into fashion.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I was saying to you before, like, I'm a massive fan of your fashion work, and I just wondered, like, what led you down the direction of focusing on like sort of reusing secondhand fashion and vintage fashion and upcycling it? Like, what was the kind of process with that?
Well, lockdown being one of them, because I couldn't go out and get things, and then I actually lost my mum during lockdown, which is kind of how the brand really started. But you get that point where you've got all these clothes and I didn't know what to do with them, so I was altering her clothes to fit me, and I was like, you could do this with anything. So then I was getting people to like send me stuff during lockdown, and then I kind of just had like my dad's mates sending us suits and blazers and that, and then that's where I found my love for doing, because I do more tailoring than anything else, and that's where I was like, I'm going to keep this on, because the more research I then did about upcycling and how it's better for the environment and all that kind of stuff, the like, now it's like a big ethos of the brand, and I'm really proud of that's what the brand is about.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think like because there's been such a revival in like wearing secondhand clothing as well, and I think like when you go to a charity shop, all you see is like tailoring, like you get so particularly in the men's sections and things. What kind of, I was really curious to know what drew you to like using tailoring specifically, and like, because I find like the sort of design of how suits and tailoring works, I find it fascinating. So I just wondered like what it's like working with something that is, I guess, very meticulously like made, you know.
I think I've always been like a girl that's worn suits. I don't know, it's just been something that I've loved, and I quite like the power that tailoring does give you, and the confidence it gives you. But then also like when you can open up inside of a suit, and like, especially like fast fashion nowadays, you'd open a blazer, and I don't want to go anywhere near it, but like vintage suits, you're opening up, and then like how they're made is just, it's amazing. Like inside of it's amazing, and you know that it's well structured, so you've definitely got that freedom to be able to play around with something that, because it's been well made beforehand.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so when you were kind of putting those first pieces together, can you tell us a little bit about the first couple of pieces that you made?
I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I honestly didn't. It was just a free for all, you know, like you've got this idea in your head, and I was just like, I'm just going to go with it, because I'm self-taught as well. I didn't go to uni or anything,
right, okay.
So I kind of, and even now, like when I'm doing stuff now, I'm learning along the way, and I make everything on the mannequins too, so it's not like I'm designing them beforehand. I've just got this idea, and I'm like, right, well, I need to get there in the end. So it's like everything's done the Corey way, I guess.
Yeah. But do you think not being self-taught and not going through like a more traditional like dressmaking or sewing course or whatever, do you think that's maybe made you a little bit more like, oh well, I can do what I want? Like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, there's too many rules, and I'm a bit of a rule breaker. So I don't follow patterns, I don't do any of that, and I think it gives you're more open to freedom in that sense, and I think it makes you more creative as well, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think I've still got some of my original pieces, and now when I look at them, I'm like, oh my god, you could never have sold that.
Really? But what were they like? What did they look
just like now, because I do them more and more, I've got like a way of doing it. But again, at the beginning, I was never making things to sell them. It was just, I was just making them and just to wear myself, and then it kind of just,
Yeah.
And now it's a business, and I'm like, how's this happened?
I feel like that's happened so much to people in lockdown. It's like you kind of take, it was the kind of that opportunity to take a bit of a risk, and like hopefully it's paid off because now you get to do all this.
Well, exactly,
stuff. So when I was looking at some of your pieces, there's quite a big juxtaposition between that like suiting and tailoring, and then also the other textural fabrics that you use, like sort of tulle and like lace and all that sort of stuff. And I wondered like what the process was to kind of, or what the process is of like merging those two kind of quite different textures together, and how you do that sort of thing.
I think I've just, because the brand's gender neutral, I've kind of wanted to merge them together in that sense. And it's a bit like you've got that mask from the tailoring, and then you've got that more flamboyant with like the tulle and stuff. And I kind of think it was also something where you weren't seeing that on a suit, and I wanted to be a little bit different, and I wanted to be a bit creative. And obviously everything is like one-off pieces, but it's more like I wanted it to be like you wouldn't see that anywhere else. So I kind of wanted to merge them in that sense and just be like, why not?
Yeah, do you have like a favourite piece that you've ever made or put together?
Yeah, well now I do, yes. That I've just made, for my last pop-up at Fenwick, I made a white jacket and I sewed flowers all over it, but they were just like an actual bunch of flowers, so they come like and they're all over the place, and
that's amazing.
That's my favourite I think I've made so far.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I just wanted to go back about you, so the all of your work is gender neutral. Was that a conscious decision in the beginning, or is that something that you kind of was just kind of a natural thing to get into?
It's not something that I thought, right, this is what I'm doing. It was more the crowd was becoming more like that, and then I was in a conversation with one of my best friends, and he said to me, why don't you like put it out there that the brand is gender neutral, and then see if that like gives you more traction. And it did, and it wasn't something that I didn't want to do. It was just from the beginning it hadn't been something that I was necessarily thinking about, but that's where the love was coming, you know, like that I make to make people feel confident and to push boundaries and be able to wear what they want to wear. So I think making it a gender neutral brand and allowing people to be who they want to be is like,
that's so
super
nice.
proud of it.
Do you think there needs to be maybe more focus on sort of gender neutral fashion in the fashion industry in general? Do you think there could be more focus on that?
There could be, but I just think we're at a stage where we're still fighting against a lot of things like that, which, you know, we're living in the 21st century now. Why are we still fighting against these things? However, I do think it should be out there now, and it shouldn't be something where we're having people not be able to be confident in who they are and not be able to shop where they want to shop just because it's frowned upon, because, you know...
you should be able to do whatever you want.
Exactly.
You know?
I dress for myself and I don't dress for anyone else, so why should anyone else?
Absolutely. So obviously, you know, you started this in lockdown, and then it's now grown into what it is now, and like you're seeing your designs being like Vogue and like Vanity Fair and like you know the big dogs of all the like, you know, publications, and then like I saw that one of your designs was one, what's his name, Max. Yes, who wore at the BAFTAs the other week. And like that, like please like tell me how, like what must that feel like to see your designs like getting out there into the
it is a bit mad, but I think because I'm in it, I forget to like take a step back and be like, Corey, this is actually going on, you know, because it's more my friends are like, you just did that, and I'm like, oh I forget because I'm like in it. But then like the whole Vogue and all that kind of stuff, it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel real still, and I just laugh about it, and I'm like, how have I even done this?
It's
pure madness.
I mean, I'm the same with music. It's like I'll like do something, and my friends were like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" I'm like,
I think it's weird. It's like my friends are constantly saying to me, "You need to take a minute and take a step back and look at what you're actually doing."
Yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah.
No, it's great. What was it like that first? I guess like either Celebrity Commission or first magazine. How did that feel when you saw like that first one happen for the very first time?
Well, my first one was who's now my friend Ian H from Steps, as he's known as. He like reached out to me on Instagram and was like, "Oh, can you do this jacket in my size?" And I was like, "This can't be a real thing." I was like Googling to see if it was his real account. I was like, "Was this his real account?" And then I made it to his size, posted it, and it never got there.
Still never got
no,
there.
It got there eventually, but it missed what he was going to wear it for, and then that was it. I was like, no one's ever going to want to buy from me ever. And then it wasn't until like a couple of months later that he sent me this message and was like, "Can I wear it for the front cover of the new album?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Yes, obviously." And then it's just been from there, and I think now it's like don't get me wrong, I've got clients coming up that I'm a bit like at the minute I'll believe it when I see it, when this is on stage, but oh my god. But like, yeah, it's just madness, but it's really exciting, don't get me wrong, and I get excited to like on the nights of the events I'm like searching Getty Images so I can see the pictures before anyone else has, and making sure I'm like, sometimes if I'm still at work and stuff's on TV, I'm sat with a laptop so I can watch it while I'm still working and stuff. So yeah, it's just pure madness. I'm just this daft little Geordie, and then my work's doing all this stuff.
It's amazing, and I think because I saw something on one of the things when I was having a look, and it's like you kind of say that the brand is very much into sort of accessible couture. And I think like couture's such a huge other world. Like, I'm a huge fan of like, Alexander McQueen and like Vivienne Westwood and all those like amazing couture shows from the 90s and the noughties and all that sort of stuff. And I think like, how important do you think it is to be able to have like a space for couture fashion? Because I think there's been so much change in fashion over the years, and I think it maybe doesn't quite get the same thing as...
Well, yeah, but you're also not, like, with other brands, couture, you're talking like thousands and thousands, whereas you're not getting that with me. I'm upcycling stuff and making you couture, which is way more accessible. And why can't we wear couture? Like, I think it's maybe, has it been because it's been far too expensive, so you don't think about wearing it? Whereas I've always wanted to be extra. So I've always like kind of gone out there with the way I dress, and obviously now the way I design, everything is a bit out there. So I think making it accessible, people are wearing it, and like, look at all these red carpets that are going on now. We're wearing couture for the red carpet and then changing for the after party, so and then you get two looks as well, so that's my kind of party.
I wanted to ask you a bit about your the names of your pieces, because you give all your pieces different names, but I wanted to ask a little bit about how do you decide on the name of a garment?
I was brought up with like soul, Motown, disco music, so that's my blood with music. And I think when I've got music on in the background and stuff, because it's like in my ears, blasting music or just out and about, I always think of like something that if I'm making it at the time, there's like a song that I've either got on repeat at the time, or there's a moment that's happening in my life and there's a song that's quite can go in with that. So there's quite a lot of them have got like a little bit of a meaning to me behind them. Or something, sometimes it can be a song that kind of describes what I think of that, but I guess it's only in my little brain that those things happen. But like, if then somebody asked me, I could describe how that's come about. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah, and I guess it keeps it personal to you as well. Yeah. When you see those pieces and then you're like, oh, well, that's that one which is named after this, and it must be such an exciting thing to be able to like give each of those pieces that you make a little part of yourself.
Yeah.
And then they go out and make their own story.
And because I've put them all as songs, I've then made a playlist, and the playlist is on Spotify, and I love it when people are like, oh, I'm just cleaning my house with your playlist in the background, or like, I'm at my friend's party and I've put your playlist on, so like that's a proper buzz as well, because that's just music that I love with clothes that I've created that now is being loved by other people as well.
So obviously with like fashion, the fashion industry, a lot of that is sort of based down south and based in London and things. And do you think there can be certain barriers to being a designer who lives like in the north, and what do you think those barriers can be, and have you faced any of those?
Well, I think everyone's always like, why not going to London? But I'm proud of my roots, and I kind of want to put Newcastle back on the map for being like, come to Newcastle for fashion. But I also think barriers I would say last minute jobs, because people just assume that I'm in London when they look at my Instagram sometimes. So like they can say, oh, can you dress such and such for this tomorrow? And I'm like, well, no, because that's not going to happen, because I'm in Newcastle, you're in London, not unless you want to get a train down here and pick something out. So that can be a little bit annoying, where I can lose out on work in that sense. Or sometimes I find with some stylists, they ask where I'm based, and when I say Newcastle, for some reason that puts them off, but I don't understand why. I'm like, I can post it, send me the measurements, I'll make everything made to measure anyway, so yeah, I think that can, and I think maybe money wise as well. So obviously coming from the northeast, like my rentals and stuff, when I do rentals, they're a lot less cheaper than when you would rent from somewhere else. So I don't know if maybe that kind of thing would put you off, but I don't know. I feel like I'm trying my best to get the northeast on the map, and it shouldn't matter where in the world you are, to be honest. I think eventually I would love to be able to open job opportunities, for like people in the northeast, and to prove that you can get a job in the northeast for fashion, and yeah, I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. What do you think? Do you think there are some solutions that could solve that problem? Like, what do you think just need, like, and this can be like the most basic thing ever that could be done. It's the same with music, like what do you think could be done better to be able to support artists from across the country, and not just
funding? To be honest, I think if there was more, if I had funding, there's so much I want to do, but it's not here in the northeast, and which is sad. I think it's not here, not just in fashion, it's not here in being creative, music, musical theatre with drama and stuff like that, and I think it's something that the northeast definitely needs to look at and try and get at, because there is no difference. Well, not to be big-headed, but look at me, for instance. I'm creating designs, they're being worn on the red carpets in London, so why does it make a difference that I'm from Newcastle and not from London?
Yeah, no, totally. I totally get it. But I do, I think funding's definitely.
Yeah.
They need more of it.
Yeah. I need it.
So I wanted to ask, one of my final questions is, what does a typical day look like? So when you're coming into the office or the studio or whatever, like, what is just a typical day for you?
Chaotic. Every day is quite different. I don't think there's one typical day, but it can be. I'm trying to think of things that I do. Obviously, creating garments, invoices, sadly, charity shopping, which is a bonus.
Do you do a lot of what's the word? Sourcing. Do you do a lot of sourcing for charity shops?
So charity shops, Vinted, eBay. Then people are always like posting me stuff of like, I'm getting rid of this and I'm gonna send you it. I'm like, yes. Got a wedding dress this week and I'm so excited about it. Yeah, I love it when people send me stuff like that. They're like, I'm not going to do anything with it, so you can have it. I'm like, send it my way, honey.
That's amazing.
Yes, I guess it's all mainly creative stuff. I'm trying to think why I can't think of my day-to-day. Even listening to songs. So that's a job in itself, so I have to I have a playlist which is like songs that I'm gonna use of songs that I either love or I'm like, right, can work for something, and that takes time as well. Yeah, it's mainly the creativeness of it, but it's some days I'm not even just working on one suit at a time. I can be working on 3 different suits, so I can start painting one, then move on to another one while that's drying, then do something as that. If I've got the same colour thread on from that one, then I'll just join them together. And so my life is chaotic.
It's like organised chaos.
Yeah,
I get that. So could you tell me who are your top 3 artists that you're listening to at the moment? So when you're in the studio, who are you listening to? Top 3 at the moment.
Top 3 artists. I'd still probably say Diana Ross.
Nice.
My morning playlists are very different to my afternoon, evening playlists. So mornings more like old, like Etta James, Solomon Burke kind of vibes. I'm like right back there when I get up on a morning. Marvin Gaye, and then I'd say, I'm trying to why can't I think of things? I'd say not necessarily no, I would still say even Marvin Gaye, kind of Stevie Wonder for afternoons as well. I quite like to find a little edit of stuff as well, which is always fun.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, that's really cool. I think like I'm a big Etta James, Aretha Franklin fan.
Yeah, that's my mornings start like as soon as I get up. There's music on in the background, and I'm going right back to like 30s, 40s, and then disco's blaring by the evening.
Yeah,
your neighbours hate me.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you.
That was Corey Dixon. What a gal! Like, totally amazing. I had so much fun getting to talk to her about what she does and about somebody else's guy. I think her brand is just like totally inspiring, and like listening to how she like started it from being self-taught and just like, you know, through trial and error, like honing her niche and like making what she makes. And I just found it so interesting to listen to. And like if you haven't seen any of her designs before, like please go and check out somebody else's guy on socials, and you'll be blown away. Like she's incredible. One day we'll be dressed in somebody else's guy, hopefully. Thank you very much for listening to this week's podcast. If you liked it, then please like and subscribe. And we are a new podcast, so please tell your friends and your family, because it would be nice to have more people. And we will see you for the next one. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So thank you very much. I've been Heather Ferrier. Bye.